Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing really well today. I want to make a quick video on credit card churning and bonuses. Now, this is something that I've personally been really interested in pretty much since I turned like 17 or 18. And we'll get into this in a little bit, but essentially I went through a little phase where I just essentially get as many credit cards as possible, and ultimately I ended up destroying my credit score. It's gotten better since, but I did that because I was just so in love with the idea of credit cards and credit churning specifically, and being able to get those bonuses, um, frequent flyer points, etc., and even other things as well, like insurances, and some other little bits and bobs, which we'll get into in a second. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video on exactly why this is interesting or why you might want to care about it. And if you do, then how to kind of do it the best way so you don't follow my footsteps. So before we even do anything, what is credit card churning? If you haven't already heard of it, pretty much it's signing up for new credit cards to take advantage of sign up bonuses. For example, things like rewards points, cashback, or complimentary travel perks, and that could be insurances, for example. Um, with the idea or with the intention that you're going to end up canceling that card once you've reaped those rewards. Um, Now, the whole reason this works is because credit card companies want to incentivize new customers to come on board, and they do that by giving quite good rewards sometimes. As a general rule of thumb, spending $100 can get you 400, or spending 200 can get you up to 800. Some of the cards, once you value all their little bits and bobs, they might have a voucher here. They might have being able to access this thing here. Sometimes that up into the thousands of dollars, but those cards are normally more expensive towards the um, late hundreds or even near the $1,000 mark. So, and actually some do go higher, like the American Express Platinum. But yeah, you can generally get a 4x return, sometimes even higher, sometimes lower on these new credit cards. So it can be really lucrative, especially if you have 30 minutes to an hour of free. That money can be done, or sorry, can be gained quite quickly, if you know what you're doing and know what to look out for. Now, the big drawback here is that they generally require a minimum spend within a short time frame. So, for example, I've said here $3,000 in 3 months. Some cards do $10,000 in 6 months. Some will do quite low, sometimes $1,000, which I actually recently used, which was a NAB credit card, and that got me $400, I believe, in rewards points for the $1,000, which I would have spent anyway. So it really did cost me $0 at the end. Now, more premium cards will have higher requirements, but they also have higher rewards. Now, that doesn't mean that the most expensive card is the best. Full stop. That's not always the case. I think you just need to be a little bit, you know, I guess conservative in your approach, because the reality is you don't want to be spending, $1,500 a year, or for the first year, and get $3,000 dollars back. You might be getting $1,500 worth of value or vouchers or whatnot, but in my opinion, for a specific person, that works really well. But if you're just getting into it, there are some lower tier cards that might give you cash back of, say, $100, $200, and those work really well for getting started because there's not much risk. It's not really complex at all. The spend's usually quite low, but I think kind of once you start getting involved in churning, then you can kind of get involved with higher level cards. Now, I've had 20. I know it's crazy. I've had 20 plus credit cards, and I've benefited over $10,000 over the last 5 years. It's probably close to 6 years now. It's since about 18. Um, and yeah, it's been really great. I've been able to um, benefit not just in the rewards, like the monetary side, but also through insurances, access to lounge, access to discounts on some websites that don't normally give discounts, or even, for example, I know with Amex they've given me the opportunity to kind of buy tickets early to really popular events, which I didn't have an Amex card just because I wanted it. It was more to kind of churn and benefit from it. So I also thought that was quite handy to have. Now, it might sound all good and well, but I guess for you, what are some key considerations before you start churning? Now, the obvious one, which I mentioned earlier, was that there are going to be some impacts to your credit score, especially if you're doing a few cards each year. Now, I went absolutely crazy and would apply for up to 8 cards a year. Definitely damaged my credit score and brought it super low. It's back to normal now. It's actually quite high, but I'd suggest a maximum of four, once per every 3 months, if not once per every 6 months. Now, there are some cards as well. I will say that if you have applied for a similar product within the last couple of months or 3 months, then they'll actually automatically decline you. I know Amex does this for a few of their cards, but I think as a general rule, just try to keep under four per year. Not all cards are created equally. I've made money off the most basic and the more premium cards. So that was what I was saying earlier. Don't just go for the highest tier option just because you think it's going to give you the most rewards points, or it's the most premium, or the most, I guess, fancy, you could say. I used to be really into the whole Amex Platinum, look good. Well, it's a credit card that looks good, and it's Mel. Of course, it's really cool. But the reality is, for the money you spend, sometimes you're not going to get the highest ROI on that. So keep that in mind. Another point here is sometimes it's just not worth your time. However, if you have lots of expenses coming out, and you have, say, an hour to submit an application online, the bonus is going to be, it's for the most part, it's going to be an easy win. I know that there are some higher tier cards that say, spend $10,000 in the next few months. If you're doing a home renovation project and you're easily going to spend that $10,000, and they're going to give you, say, $800 back in gift vouchers, I mean, you know, if you have a spare hour, that's $800 now. So it's not too bad at all. Sometimes it doesn't work. Um, Spending money just because you want to meet a bonus isn't always a good idea. Better if you already have expenses coming up, or you can kind of maybe prepay expenses for the next financial year, or do something to that nature. Now, this is something that not many people talk about, but there are many terms and conditions with cards. You'll see in the fine print down the bottom, there are lots of ifs and buts, especially when it comes to what a new customer is. For example, with Amex, after 18 months, you're a new customer. So, and look, this all differs depending on the bank. I mean, there are so many ifs and buts, and a lot of people get really annoyed when they don't hit the bonus criteria. Normally because they might have, for example, spent that money with a government agency where that's actually exempt. Maybe they've gone cash exempt. Lots and lots of things around. So definitely take your time to read through it, or speak to someone who's currently using it and has actually gotten the bonus and what they did to achieve it. Um, I actually enjoy looking through those T's and C's, so for me, it's quite easy. Now, a really big one here: if you're not in control of your own money and you spend frequently without, like, you just can't control yourself, you might not end up getting a positive ROI on this. You might actually spending more than you wanted, and being in the hole more. Because the reality is, the reason why they're handing out these bonuses is because they want more customers, they want more people spending on their cards, and they want to make more money for you guys. So if you're not confident in yourself, you're not confident with your spending of money, or just your personal finance habits in general, maybe leave this one out. If you are, though, really good with money, I mean, for me, it's been a no-brainer, and it's been awesome. It's been a great learning experience. Now, if this interests you and it fits well with your strategy, here are some tips to optimize credit card churning. So I think if you can plan strategically, with expenses like when you have expenses coming up and you're not applying for other loans, this will be really great. I know when I've gone for a few mortgages recently, and they've always mentioned the credit card churning thing because they can see it on the file. Sometimes it might not be the worst thing ever, but it's also probably not going to be the best thing ever. So make sure, if you do want to do this, just plan it around when you're not looking to apply for any loans, slash when you are looking to spend a lot of money. That might work out well. Some cards will have better offers through specific partners versus applying directly. Now, I've said here point hacks. They a lot of the time have exclusive offers, that can only be accessed through their affiliate code or through their website. So, if you're interested, follow these accounts on Instagram or social media. and you'll likely find a better offer than if you went looking yourself, which can be, quite great as well. Sometimes it's not always the case, but sometimes it is. Now, yeah, I mean, I mentioned this earlier, but going for the best cards, for example, the Amex Platinum or the Qantas Titanium card, isn't always the best approach. It might be the best overall, but it doesn't mean that's the best for credit card churning. I've spent $0 on cards with no annual fees, and I've made $500 to $600. Um, I've also spent annual fees on cards and not gotten that. So it just really depends. Sometimes new cards have really fantastic offers, like brand new cards, and the earlier you can get them, the better. Um, so yeah, there are lots of credit card comparisons online. There's people talking about all across Reddit, YouTube, TikTok. Points hacks again is another one, and people doing the same thing. So this is a pretty popular concept at this point. So you're definitely not going to be alone if you want to look into it further. There's heaps of information out there, and lots of helpful tips if you ever get stuck. Now, last point here: if you're ever just looking for points, there are other ways to supplement, your, I guess, points addiction, for lack of a better word. Lots of different. I know for frequent flyer points via Qantas, they offer extra points when you take out insurance or when you get a home loan with them. Sometimes on an annual basis, which can be really great. Another option is gift cards. If you're purchasing, for example, from Woolies or Coles, sometimes they'll have a offer where, for example, they might give you everyday rewards points, which can then be converted into Qantas frequent flyer points. There's just so many ways to do it. There are so many avenues to earn points, not just through credit cards. If points are your only big thing here, for me, it was a mix between the benefits, like I said, like just traveling, insurances, cashback was really great, and having the ability to get vouchers, which I can then give as gifts, was really cool as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys have really enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, let me know down below. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.